Looks like your credits went through just fine. Fantastic. Now, where was I? Right. You were asking about the mercs, Nox Solaris. Well, friend, you have come to the right man. Been their humble street pharmacist since just after they got together. Some of my best clients, by the way. But more importantly for you, they're the best there is at what they do. I mean, what a group. Leader's a bona fide Atlantean voyager. That's right, Atlantean. Then there's the spooky techno-wizard cyborg genius. Finally, a mystic smithy giant. 12 feet tall if he's an inch. Not to mention the mountain of a spirit bear he calls brother. Now, I can get word to him if you're looking to hire Mister. No problem there. Just let old Blitz give you 2 tiny tips for your health. First, don't get on their bad side. Make sure you have payment ready to go, and don't try to pull any bullshit, or you're worse than dead. And second, don't piss off that fucking bear.
Finally, there you are. The Nexus had just enough power to fuel one more try. The last step. The Megaverse knows my Atlantean people as heroes, but a shadow of chaos has taken root in me. They try to bind it. They try to bury it. But when I finally called out to it, to you, from across the void, you answered, I am ready.
Welcome, traveler, to the Black Shore.
Your shame reaches a mother's heart, even beyond the veil, little brother. My sister saw and mocked her as the darkness closed in. She giggled and synthesized honey-sweet tones while leaning close to softly breathe her venom into my ear. And so, with judgment passed and tourniquets in place, my family commanded the automated surgical bots to neatly slice both arms and legs from my torso. The harsh lights overhead swam and dimmed before my eyes, as flesh and bone were replaced with cold, unfeeling metal to cripple my connection to the arcane. Now, my family lies far behind my path, and I follow a new teacher as she whispers from the darkness ahead. Her voice haunts me with promises of forbidden knowledge and wonders precious beyond compare. Each step brings me closer to my prize, closer to my revenge, closer to her.
Nah, brother. My eyes read the stars as keenly as your ancient ones do. It is almost here. E is almost home. And with him comes the end for our proud and noble Vana countryman, along with the rest of the souls on this world, as his foul shadow falls upon us all. We alone stand for those who cannot. Ugh. So rise, son of Aku. Our ancestors smile upon us this night as they call us home. Come and let us earn our place amongst the stars above.
Starting recording. Okay, so we are back with Ren as he is getting in some research at the workshop at the House of Saints. As we dive back in, we find him in the company of this creature who has assisted him in disabling the security for this workshop that he's currently in. Okay, and as we pick up, and you've just heard this creature speak to you for the first time, let's go ahead and jump in. Ren, what would you like to do?
Okay, so I had just hold on, let me get the map back. I got a, oh, there it is. Okay, the map's back up. I just had to zoom out. All right, just a quick refresh. Last I had heard, there was a noise that pretty much was absolutely nothing to me, but she seemed to be hyper aware of something, but then seemed to relax. This room has just opened up, and I've only gotten this much of a view of the room, correct? Just making sure.
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to take a step forward and look around the room so I can get a full view, so I'll move there.
Okay. As you step forward and look around, you get a full view of this power plant that appears to be supplying all the power for this workshop. You would guess that maybe it's tied into a main grid as well, especially from when you were just connected through telemechanics to the maintenance console. It definitely seems like these little power plants are tied in throughout this overall facility to help with basically what would constitute a main power grid. And this one is still functioning perfectly, no problems whatsoever. As you look around, though, you do notice that there is quite a bit of like chemical goop that seems to be residual clinging to the grate in front of you, showing that whatever kind of power plant this is, it seems to require the input of quite a bit of some kind of strange chemicals. It looks like it's been spilled over time and left a fairly thick crust, showing a flow of viscous chemicals down that large drain.
Okay.
As you look, you also, once again, you notice that the drain looks like it could be removed and is not built directly into the floor itself. Um, Other than that, you're not seeing anything of interest. At
So,
this point, you hear a loud banging at the front door of the workshop, and after several sharp reports from what sounds like an armored fist, you hear somebody press the call button from the outside intercom, trying to get the attention of whoever's inside the workshop.
okay. I will look at the person with me to kind of see what they're doing.
Okay, as you look over, you notice that that individual has already crossed the space between you and them, and moves right over to the grate, kneels down, and as the weapon in the left hand fully retracts back into the form of an arm, the right hand, it appears as though it seems to shimmer, and the metal makeup of its armored form morphs into what appears to be a large, like a power drill. And at the end is a socket attachment. And as it bends down, it places the attachment squarely over one of the large, oversized bolt nuts on top of the grate, and with minimal noise, it starts ratcheting the bolt off in a very, very timely fashion. It looks up at you with that mirrored faceplate once again, and as it does so, you once again see the strange time dilation effect taking place as you see your reflection, and it says to you,
"Go see who that is. I'll be down here until they're gone. Hurry."
okay, with that, it nods its head up to the top of the stairs, and encourages you to go check the door.
Okay. Do I get the idea that I need to like maybe shut this door, to the access thing that I came into?
That's a
Or
great
whoever-
question. You, it's really up to you on how you want to play this.
Do I think I can close it and then reopen it? Basically,
Yes,
some kind of-
absolutely.
Then I
You-
will definitely close it and then.
Okay.
So there's no. No sign of what we've been getting into, or
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I'm gonna put all the work into fucking freezing cameras and shit like that. I would think I would do the same with not showing that I got into an area that probably was not supposed to be gotten into.
Yeah, I don't blame you. So do you want to try and just press on that same place outside of the door?
Yes,
Or okay.
that,
Okay, so as you head up, you get outside of the door once again. Now you hear another three loud raps at the door, slams of a fist. Let me very quickly get this. I think at this point we can close it, lock it, and once again make it secret. Okay, so as you press that exact same spot that you manipulated to get this open in the first place, the door silently, both sides close together, leaving a seamless union when they're done. And as you look once again, it completely seems like just another part of the wall. Beyond the now closed, once again, that door, that vault-like door that slides closed is actually a few feet thick, so it's huge and sturdy. As it slides
Is this
shut,
surprising to me that it's silent? Like, or I've
yes,
actually...
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
You would guess that this is some kind of metal, but it doesn't look like it's segmented, which seems like it would have to be. So this is a kind of high tech material that you wouldn't expect to see here. All right, as it slides shut, you are all set to go, and let's see. As you head back over, the bathroom door is now closed. And you've got your diagnostic equipment still on the table. As you head over, you get about here. What would you like to do?
Oh crap! I gotta get over a picture. I was like, where am I? I'll go to where the sound's coming from on the door and see.
Okay. As you head forward,
Wrapping up my chamber door.
as you head forward, you see on the wall right about here, there's just a very small little panel that has a small kind of like viewing pane and some basic controls that would be what essentially is like a Ring doorbell security system. You do hear once again somebody chiming over it, setting an alert for someone to open the door. But you see on this panel that the door is actually locked. It auto locks once you come inside. So you could turn on the camera. You could use the speaker. You could go answer the door. You could do none of these and something else.
So, so the camera that I turned off initially, that was the camera for the back room, correct? Or was that the camera just from the lab in general?
Oh, when you just turned the security system off?
When I looped the camera,
Uh-huh.
was that looping the whole lab? Was that looping a particular camera?
It was looping all of the cameras.
Okay, so all of them.
As well as the ones that are just sensors.
Okay, I thought it was just access to that back room one.
No, but you do have the option if you want to try and do that. I mean...
Yeah, if I can briefly try to just reactivate the cameras just in the room I'm in, the main lab area, where, the non-secret area. Just have those running in real quick.
All right, so you head back over. You quickly get back down and head through. And as you do, you get to the console. And let's go ahead and have you do... Let's see, your telemechanics. I don't remember how long that lasts for, but I feel like that's probably still in effect. I want to say maybe 10 minutes, but I'm not sure.
10 minutes, yes.
Okay. So as you lay your palm on the console once again, that same connection is made. And because you had already pretty much cracked the security of it, yeah, you had already kind of just had your way with whatever you were wanting to in that system. You're able to get right back into it. Now, the thing here is time. So what I'd like to do is I'd like for you to roll a 4-sided, and we're going to see how many melee rounds it takes. Those melee rounds are 15 seconds apiece. So low is good.
Of course you say that.
All right, so for a breathless 45 seconds... the pounding at the door continues to get louder, and you find yourself struggling to make a really coherent program that's going to actually do what you're wanting it to do. just on the fly like this. The pressure gets to you just a little, but you're able to power through. And as you came back down, by the way, you noticed that your visitor was gone. But the grate had been fully replaced again, and everything looked normal. Let me just go like that. All right. And as you finish up, you actually hear some kind of chime alert go off through the workshop. You're not sure what this means, but it sounds like it's something linked directly to like the security of the workshop, or like the infrastructure of the workshop. It sounds almost like not an alert buzzer going off, but like a notification bell of some kind within the workshop itself. Almost like when you get a notification on Discord or Windows or whatever.
Someone left a message or like a ding type.
Maybe, but you would guess that it's something. It's almost like a microwave going off, or a timer of some kind going off, or something like that. It's more like something within the complex notifying the occupants. Okay, this particular thing just happened. You just don't know what that is. As you finish up, you get the sense you should pretty much hightail it. Do you want to head back up and out?
Yes, I will run. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna run to the table. Not the sit down table, but the actual the workbench area.
Okay.
And I'm gonna throw my hood on and just turn on any of like the things going on in my hood, and basically pretend like I was listening to music or listening to something, or caught in my thing and just not paying attention.
Okay. As you get over to the table, your pack is close by on one of those chairs, and you quickly go through it and pull your cloak out, your hooded cloak. And as you whip it around your chest and shoulders as quick as you can, let's see, you are able to go ahead and roll. Let's see. Go ahead and just give me just a perception roll real quick. All right. Okay, so you just snap closed the clasps of your cloak as you gaze down, and you realize that there's a couple of small boxes of minor components that have been left kind of scattered about on the workstation, and you quickly kind of place those, you stage those strategically to make it look like you've actually been working on something and are literally in the middle of it as we speak. So by some quick thinking, you use things at hand to basically conceal what's actually been going on. And as you do, you hear from behind you the door swing open. Now, as it does so, you hear the footfalls of armored boots striding quickly towards you from the door. Let's see. You would guess... Let me go ahead and place these. Just 1 second. Here we go. You would guess that there are at least 6 pairs of these boots striding towards you.
6 pairs? Like
6 pairs, yes.
Shit, okay.
The boots sound as though they are supporting a great deal of weight, and you would guess that whatever figures are wearing them are probably pretty heavy and pretty sturdily armored. Okay. As you hear these boots walking into the room, you can hear them walking directly towards you with a pretty direct intent and purpose. And after a few seconds, you hear that they've now gotten to about where the sofa and the storage crates are in the room behind you. Kind of that layer, in from the doorway.
Okay.
Now, you also hear a tittering, high-pitched voice scream in through the open door. And as it does so, you hear it say to whoever these armored troops are,
"Take no action unless he resists."
okay, as it says this,
Repeat that regularly, because I'm sorry, I did not pick that up.
no worries. It said, take no action unless he resists. And as it says this, you hear the footfalls of the armored individuals slow down considerably and become much more measured. They go from almost
They were coming into the force at first, and then they got the instructions and
exactly.
The roll slightly. Okay.
Now you've still got a good few seconds before they're going to be upon you, but you are turned around looking at the workbench. So what would you care to do?
I'm gonna just kind of like lightly whistle to myself, like I'm just lost in thought and doing my thing.
Okay.
If I realize they're almost upon me, I might spin around and then act surprised and like, oh shit. Very, very friendly, cordial, innocent, kind of like, oh, hello, hi. Like not looking like, oh no, more like, oh shit, didn't hear you, what's up?
Okay.
Just very, very nonchalant, very just like, oh, hi, like a friendly, not overly or anything, but just a very kind of friendly, confused reaction to their presence.
All right. They appear to kind of split up, and let's see. There we go. They appear to kind of split up, and as you hear them get close enough to where it makes sense to you, you do indeed feign surprise. You half turn, and you even add in a little flare of your hand kind of moving towards your waist, just partially. And as you see the individual standing in front of you, you notice that they are indeed heavily armored, although their appearance makes it look...
These men before?
Mayhaps. As you are looking at them, you do recognize that these are some of the troops that you saw marching the streets previously. Some of the rare military types in this entire facility. So now as they surround you, none of them appear to be brandishing weapons currently. Their weapons are still sheathed, and they're not carrying anything modern. So as they approach, they all seem to just be willing to use their fists if necessary, to subdue a target. And as you look at them, they don't necessarily look anything other than human-sized and relatively benign. But again, as when you saw them previously, there's something about the strange, jerky nature of their movements that makes you think there's something quite inhuman about these individuals. You do see, now that you're this close, that most of the adornments on their armor and outfits in general, as well as their weapons, apparently, seem to actually be silver. Not just, a reflective surface. They seem to be genuine silver. And this definitely intrigues you because you know that silver is anathema to most supernatural and fairy and demonic and, and on and on. And so it makes you instantly think that these probably aren't any kind of like demonically possessed or, potent, supernaturally evil creatures if they're adorned this way. Let's see. Okay. Other than that, you do notice that they have their face masks down, and each time they breathe out, apparently, there's some kind of supernatural effect because they're breathing out large plumes of this deep, steamy kind of mist, exactly as one would if they were in extremely cold conditions. Usually you haven't seen an effect like this unless you're in well below like -20, -30 degrees Fahrenheit. And so this adds a very creepy and otherworldly kind of air to them, even though everything else looks relatively mundane. As they surround you, they're all staring directly at you, but you notice that the ones on the perimeter are actually gazing around the room and starting to inspect things. In fact, these two that are closest begin heading around the sides of the workbench as these others move forward. Okay, and at this point, this...
I will quickly say, it's very obvious that they're looking or they're checking this. I'll just say, I thought I had this room for the night. There's something wrong.
Okay, the one closest to you, it simply gazes at you without really any kind of reaction. After just a few moments, it holds up a single gauntleted hand and raises a single thick digit, signifying just wait a moment.
I'll say very quietly to myself, that shit's getting old.
Okay. At this, it doesn't seem to... It doesn't seem to react to your frustration, but all of the units now begin spreading out except for the one right next to you, each apparently investigating different things.
While he's keeping an eye on me, I got it.
And as after probably 30 seconds of this, you hear a voice scream out from beyond
From the door? Well?
Okay, at this, the individual standing next to you waits for the return of his compatriots that had moved off. He simply turns his back to you and walks back towards the door. You hear some low, muffled conversation for probably 10 seconds. And then you see all of these individuals start heading back out. Okay? As this is happening, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna just kind of go back to what I was doing with my stuff, but also kind of looking at them as they're walking by, just very quizzically, but kind of just be like, I guess they're just kind of act like, I guess they're just doing something they do here. I don't know. I'm going back to my business because they're not answering me, type thing. Like,
Okay.
Trying to play just, I'm not doing anything wrong, so why would I fucking care?
Okay. All right. As you do this, you see they all start shuffling out of the door, and apparently the conversation earlier seems to have concluded because a decision appears to have been made that they're all leaving. Now, as you said you did look over as they were heading out, as you looked over, go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
Ugh.
Not bad, not bad. As you look over, you see that between the figures of the soldiers, you see once again the mischievous form of Snaggletongue, gazing at you with those same beady eyes and that kind of quivering, kind of grinding in his jaw that's causing one corner of his lip to twitch up and down violently, and a similar twinned twitch in the opposite eye. He has this wild and maniacal look on his face and seems incredibly frustrated that nothing was found. As he sees you seeing him, he glares at you with intense anger and hatred, spins on his heels, and begins skulking back down the basically the alley that leads to this workshop, with his troops in tow. And as the last one leaves, the door closes automatically, and you hear another chime that's the exact same as the one that you heard previously, just as you hear the door mechanism itself lock once again. And so you would guess that that's all it was, is basically an alert saying somebody has unlocked the front door. You know what I mean? Okay. And once again, you're alone in the workshop.
Was that voice, that high-pitched voice, is that coming from Snaggletongue?
Yes.
Oh, I got it. Okay. So I guess I had not heard them speak before, because that was a new sound. I will go back. Do I hear a lock mechanism go off again?
Yes.
Okay. I'll go back to what I was pretend doing, probably for a couple minutes, just to kind of
Okay.
make sure no one's gonna pop back in and be like, aha.
Right.
And then so I'll wait that out for a bit, and then if nothing happens, then I'm gonna go back to the panel and reopen the. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do is I am going to attempt to grab a couple of items. I have an idea of where the cameras are in this room, correct? From going through the system, have I gotten like a view of the room through camera feed?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Is there a way I could basically stack something on a chair, put it by the table, and then put my cloak over it, so the camera will show like it looks like I'm in there sitting?
By the yes, absolutely. If you want to set that up, you absolutely could.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to grab anything I can see. Maybe possibly one of those. I can't see right now because that's in the way. Why is that? Okay. Those. What are those red things at the top of the room? Are those?
There was the gas tanks.
those fairly large?
Yeah, yeah. They're
Are those,
about
those
5 foot.
height? Okay, by 5 foot. Okay, well then actually I'll scoot one of those over and maybe put it in front of the table and then put my cloak over it so it looks like I'm maybe like hunched over, leaning down, looking at the table, like working.
Okay. You go ahead and do that, and you're doing this to set up the security feed to make it.
Oh yeah, no, I need to do that first. Yeah, I need to go. Oh. Yeah, I'd probably go sneak.
Well, as you're contemplating this, you hear the door open up once again, the vault-like wall, and it opens for just a split second, and then you hear it start closing again. And after just a second, from around the corner, you see that the individual is returned and is now walking towards you. Okay.
Hi.
As it looks over at you, it quickly glances around the room, and then within just a few seconds has made its way around the table, and is kind of just walking towards you and appears to be looking at you. It's kind of hard to tell with that faceplate. As this happens, what would you like to be doing? It's just simply coming out to kind of rejoin you.
I'll put a hand up real quick and put the stop motion, like, very quickly, and, like, just right in front of my chest, kind of like, hey, stop real quick, and then...
Okay, it stops.
I will quickly try to make my way over, run to the computer real quick, pat the panel, fucking freeze the frame, go back, set the thing up, just all that in as quickly as I can. And then once I get the camera frozen again real quick, give a quick explanation what I'm doing, and then I'll continue doing it unless they stop me or tell me otherwise. But if they don't, then I'm gonna grab tank, move it over, throw my cloak on it, and then reset the camera to go back to a live feed and have them stay in the stairwell with me to the open area so I can discuss without interruption and on camera.
So you want to be standing basically where the door is, the secret door?
I want to be standing like right around here. Can you see that?
You're still at the table, right?
No, but I was making squiggles. Can you not see?
Oh, yeah, my bad. Yeah.
That's I would like, yeah, that's where I would like would motion for her to come with me over there once I did the camera stuff and put up the little dummy real quick and got the camera reactivated. Or
Okay.
before I had the camera reactivated, and then turn the camera back on once she was out of sight.
Okay, sounds good. We're gonna say that you go ahead and get all of that taken care of.
Stuff, I figured just instead of
Yeah, you get it all set up, and you've already had some pretty good experience manipulating this thing anyway. So you get everything set up without any trouble. And as you do so, essentially, you guys are in that doorway. Let's see here. You guys are in there as you finish that operation. She's waiting for you on those stairs. Did you want to go back into the workshop, or did you want to stay down there to talk?
stay down where we're at to talk for right now at the moment.
Okay. Then I am going to very quickly go like this.
In the stairwell, that way we've got quick access to get back into the room. Go either direction if need be. If that makes sense.
Yes. Yes. So, let's see. There we go. So as you guys get over there, this individual looks over at you and is just kind of silently, for the first time, kind of waiting for you to speak to it. You guys are standing there for just a couple of seconds, and you could tell that it's gonna it's basically going to wait to see what you say.
And yeah, it would notice that I'm kind of running around frantically, even though like I've got an air of confidence, be like, I know what I'm doing, just give me a second, I know what I'm doing, give me a second type thing, because I'm
Absolutely
trying to get everything set back up, and I'm just kind of like, sorry, here, just whatever, just hold on, like, just, being kind of a spaz, but at the same time, confident spaz, if that makes sense. Like,
I get you. Yeah, and it's as it seems to be, now that all of this is settled, this thing has taken on a much different kind of demeanor. It looks much more relaxed. And now that there's no weapons or attachments, you're noticing that the elegant structure of this thing's form is just fascinating to you. Very, very close to all of these different things that you've been so interested in. So, okay, so as it stands there and waits, what would you like to do?
I'll just go up to it and be like, I think we're all good now. Well, hi, sorry about that. Hi, and I'll just kind of be awkward and just, kind of stumbling over my own words, trying to look like I've got my shit, in order, but at the same time, just definitely out of my element. So, did you find what you were looking for back there?
Okay, at this, you hear it let out a low kind of, it almost sounds like an old dial-up kind of stuttered digital tone that seems to whirl and click just a few times back deep behind the mirrored faceplate. It's just a very strange and unsettling kind of series of tones. And as this happens, it turns its head just slightly to the left side, just a degree or two, and it makes a noise that you could swear was almost like a sniff from a biological creature. And then it twitches its head to the other side a little more exaggeratedly this time, and it makes the same kind of almost cybernetic sniffing noise. And it says,
You smell like the other.
Thanks, I'll say.
At this, it kind of seems to retract its head and stand up at a very tall and lengthy kind of posture, almost as though it's surprised for a moment. And then you see right away the spines begin to wildly shake and gyrate, and you see its arms kind of peel back just a bit behind its waist at the elbow. Both arms kind of pull back a little and are bent, and its legs bend a bit, and you actually see that it seems to raise off of the ground just slightly, where its toes are still just barely touching. But for just a moment, it almost appears as though some great invisible hand has picked this figure up and is now holding it and supporting it with immeasurable force without actually trying to crush it. But whatever it is that's happening to it, you see a slow and scintillating shimmer run across all of those chitinous shells and plates that makes you almost think that this thing has light bending technology built into whatever this substance that it's made of or that its armor is made of is. As this effect happens, you notice that several of the electronics in the room around you begin to flicker and stutter. A few LED lights even kind of explode in their housings in just a few of the little sensor readouts and dashboards that you're seeing. And after probably 2 seconds of this effect, the creature seems to come back down and be completely supporting its own weight. Now, as it does this, it kind of crouches low and places both hands down on the ground in front of it while it squats completely supporting its weight on all 4 limbs. It also appears to shudder briefly, but you're noticing that this thing doesn't actually seem to be taking breaths. This whole time you've been looking at it, you're beginning to believe that it probably doesn't actually breathe. Other than this, visually it's gone back completely to normal, and it slowly seems to be trying to raise itself up and stand again, but it's taking just a bit of concentration. Okay, at this, what would you like to be doing?
I'm kind of just surprised by what I had just seen, but at the same time, just kind of watching for its reaction, see if it does anything first, because that doesn't seem like it was something normal. Give a quick glance of what all was broken too, and think about how I'm probably gonna have to pay for like security deposit on this.
Well, luckily, because you're in here, the only things that you're seeing were a few of the small LED lights up on the ceiling and a couple things on the side of the console. So unless they really do a deep dive, they probably won't have any idea. I like your miserly approach, man. Credits are limited. Credits are limited. I dig it. All right, so you watch this creature slowly start rising, and as it does, it says to you,
Geiger. I'm Geiger.
It stands fully erect once again and seems to do a few small stretches and twists just to make sure that everything is in order. And as it does so, there's a very eerie kind of mechanical and electronic kind of shuffling noise as you once again see lots of the plates of its exoskeleton seem to shift and move in ways that they shouldn't be able to unless it was the entire creature being rearranged. It doesn't look like some external feature. All right. At this, it looks at you once again, and it seems like it's fully regained its faculties. It says,
My apologies. I know that was all jarring. I've been sent to join your group. I am from Metadyne and was instructed that I should meet you tomorrow at the base of the House of Saints. Unfortunately, I was given other directives by a...
Okay, at this, it seems to kind of pause for a second, choosing its words very carefully.
New benefactor. I think you and I may have something in common. I was compelled to come and seek you out even in this place that...
Okay, it looks around with what you would guess is some kind of disgust, okay? And again, you can only pick this up through its body language.
This place that reviles those like us.
Okay, and as it says this, it waves a hand towards your exposed limbs. And you see that it's trying to basically compare your dabblings into this strange and arcane field of augmentation and transformation. It's comparing your work to whatever it is. And for a moment, you realize that you actually are on the right track. What you are searching for most desperately in this world This is the first solid lead that you've had on it since you set out on this journey. Okay, as it says this, is there anything you'd like to say?
Let's say anything. Just kind of. I'd say well, who was this benefactor you this new benefactor's new objective, or however you put it, what was that exactly?
Okay. It looks...
A better way to phrase that right now.
I get you. It looks at you and it says,
Time is short. I needed to break protocol in order to meet with you early so that we would have access to these facilities. I saw you merge with the fabricator, yes?
It cocks its head to the side quizzically.
Fabricator is the table.
Correct.
If that's what you call it, yes?
Our first step should be you completing your task. Please, hurry.
As it says this, it simply sweeps one arm towards the fabricator and seems to be encouraging you, as you guys are going to speak, to go ahead and finish what you were interrupted before in going to the restroom doing. So it's basically giving you an opportunity to continue, but at the same time also saying that that's something important that needs to happen right now.
I'll step back to the table to focus on that for a second, but then just a moment later I'll look back. What was your reason for showing me the back room? Because as of right now, I have no idea why they showed me this back room. Besides the fact that there was a panel to shut down, I guess, the cameras, which that's all I got from that. But I'm thinking there's more than that, so I'm gonna ask her if there was more.
Okay. It nods slightly and says,
There is one who wishes to speak with you. We need the great. We need the whole. It is...
Okay, and again it pauses, trying to think of the right word and the right phrasing.
necessary for our goals.
Okay. At this, it nods back to the grate downstairs, and it says,
Once we have taken care of a few things, we will get to that. But for now, please, hurry.
and again it waves towards the workstation.
Okay, I'll not worry about that other stuff at the moment. Yeah, no, I'll focus on the workstation.
Okay. All right. As you head back over, you get situated and kind of get yourself into high gear. This creature walks over and begins basically just kind of pacing between here and here, just kind of back and forth slowly, allowing you to work without being like right over your shoulder, but also it appears to be watching you relatively intently. Seems like it's kind of closely monitoring and analyzing your process in beginning to get this information transferred. Now, just to refresh, you had spent a good deal of time getting set up and taking all kinds of different readings on how this fabricator workbench basically works. And you were trying to get it rendered to have a full set of schematics available to you in the future. You had used telemechanics to merge with the technology and get a deep understanding of it, and Total Recall with some very successful checks to be able to retain a good deal of that information. Unfortunately, because of the kind of tools you have at hand, you need to basically try and come up with schematics yourself. Even though you can see them in your head, you have to use your wrist-mounted computer as well as this laptop that's got some CAD programming and things like that on it. You're going to need those resources to basically transfer it to a digital medium where it'll really be useful in the future. As you begin your process once again, is there anything you want to be saying or anything else you want to be doing? You can definitely split your attention as you're starting to enter the information once again.
I don't think I have. Let's see. I think I'm pretty tapped on my psionics. How do I check to see how many I have left? Or would that be under? Oh yeah, I've only got 6. Okay, 6 ISP.
Now remember, you recharge those very quickly when you meditate.
Yeah, I mean, I can get them back throughout my session here all night, because it's like you said, I started around noon, and this is maybe 1 o'clock now. Like, it's been not very long since I've been here.
Yeah, probably half an hour. Yeah, like 12:30, I'd say.
So, gonna try to kind of check out what she's got going on with all of her gear while I'm working on stuff, and just kind of get just glances and looks, and just kind of be in awe, but also like not necessarily study, but just try to, just kind of get an understanding. Like if I see her moves even slightly, be like, how does that work? How does that connect to that? How does this do that type stuff?
I get you. Okay, so as you get started and really start getting into it, she says, after just maybe 5 minutes of you really getting into full gear, she says to you,
May I offer assistance?
And I'll just like, just be like, yes, please, like, somewhat shocked, but also like slightly excited and honored by seeing what this thing has on its being, and just being like, yeah, please do.
okay. It nods just briefly and steps in front of you. As it does so, it gazes over at the workstation, the fabricator, and you see that it just slowly looks from one side to the other about 3 times. Afterwards, it looks over at you and it holds out one of those long, slender hands, and as it does so, you see that it nods down to your wrist-mounted computer, apparently asking you to present it.
Okay, I will whip it out.
Okay, as you do so, you hold it up to Geiger, and she seems to just reorient the hand she had held out, and you see that dozens of long, hair-thin, glowing fiber optic tendrils begin emerging from the surface of her fingers and palm. And as they do so, they get within just a few inches of the surface of your computer, and they stop. She looks up at you once and says,
Permission.
That was permission, I'm sorry?
yes,
That was in a question as well? I could ask him permission?
yes.
Okay, yes. I will nod my head.
Okay, as you do so, the tendrils connect to the surface, and at every point of connection, you see a small pulse and spreading of light, almost like a diagram of a circuit being powered. And as it pulses outward just a few millimeters, it actually makes the surface of your computer glow. You see small sections of your ARM-mounted computer kind of pulse with light, and several of the sections of the readout and the paneling and the area that you use to type and use finger swipes and all that kind of stuff, everything kind of pulses and seems to almost not quite glitch, but be powered at different luminosities. So it creates this strange effect of the machine almost looking like it begins to malfunction, but then within just a few moments, the hairs withdraw,